This is the last thing that I'm fucking doing. And if I don't like it, I'm putting it anyway because fuck it, dude. I've been in here since 8 a.m. It is fucking 10:16 a.m. My children, I know I fucked it up. I fucked it up. Look, I've recorded 2 fucking podcasts in attempting to do this. Not because I was trying to, but because I get wrapped up in a fucking story. And then I can't finish it despite looking at the time and realizing that I'm fucking 40 minutes in. I have to cut this off, but I can't stop the story at this point, so I gotta just go with it. And then I push it to an hour. So now it's a podcast episode. Why release it for all the 3 people? You know. Why not? I'm not putting it on fucking YouTube anymore anyway. So what does it matter? If I put it on YouTube now. I don't know. I don't know. What do I want to do? I should save it for the podcast because I don't have anything planned at all. I mean, sure, I could. I have like 5 episodes recorded. You know, I planned for this, but not planned for it. Nothing is edited at all whatsoever. It's already Monday, which means I have 2 days to get my fucking Saturday in order, or there ain't gonna be a show. So I need to get on that, like, now, but I don't want to be in this fucking room. I was in here most of the day yesterday. I'm gonna go in the living room, and before Jen gets up, I'm gonna watch something, listen to something. I'm gonna do something before she gets up, and then I give her the fucking TV back, you know, because she watches ridiculous things. I mean, occasionally we land on a show that we enjoy together, but God forbid you have to get up and do something. She don't wait. She don't wait for you, but she yells at me like, "Why you watching without me? You wouldn't wait for me, you fuck." You know that. You know that. I had to tell her, like, literally just watch it and I'll catch it later because I know you and you're impatient. When she gets wrapped up, in a show, dude, it'll be like 2 in the morning and she's like, "Oh, come on, one more. I want to know what happens. And I'm like, dude, I have to tap. I can't do it. I've been falling asleep for the last 2 episodes. I don't know what's going on. Who the fuck is this guy? What, what is his purpose in this fucking show? Who knows? Oh man. Oh shit. That's funny, dude. There's some really funny people on Facebook, bro. I shared a news article of some guy that looks like let me Ooh, you know who he looks like? I'll tell you exactly who he Let me pull him up. I know exactly who he looks like. Hold on. I don't know his name. I hate him. He's great. I hate him though. I hate who he plays, but he's a great actor. He's so good that he makes me hate every character that he ever plays because he's a dickhead. But that's how good he is that he makes you buy into like he's really this person. He's great, dude. Let's go 16 blocks. Because I know here he is. There he is. There's my guy. There's the guy I love to fucking hate. What's your goddamn name, sir? What's your goddamn name? David Morse. Yes, that's who it is. He looks like. This dude looks like David Morse and Post Malone. Because a little bit of Post Malone. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What do you. I'm sorry. Happy Monday. Here are our picks for the week. First of all, Stitcher, I didn't ask you to give me your fucking picks for the week, pal. I have my own podcast, god damn it, that I don't have the luxury of sitting and listening to random things. I have a couple people that I check in on, and that's it. I don't have time for nothing else. So, excuse you, but take your happy Monday and shove it up your ass. Because you know who's never going to be on that list? That's right. Me. Never. Anyway. I mean, I don't understand why, with the content that I'm about to drop on you in a second, I can't understand why I wouldn't make it in the top 10 list. But this guy, to set the scene for you, he's got no hair on his head. He's shaved, big razor bald. But his entire head is tattooed. The top of it, I mean. Not the forehead part. Because apparently we have standards, right? We need to leave the billboard open in case Nike wants to advertise. Fucking idiot. He's got what looks to be tattoo tears on his left side of his face. I can't see because it's fucking, really out there. And then you could see, I would assume that he has, he's covered in tattoos on his body. Because you could see it. Oh, at least he left his neck alone, from what I could tell. I don't have a problem with neck tattoos if you're the guy that can pull it off. But don't be a fucking square and get a neck tattoo, bro. If you have a neck tattoo, you better be a fucking artist, a musician, a tattoo artist. You better do something. I don't want to fucking. You better not be a manager at Wendy's, bro. I'll fucking kill you. You better shut up with that. Get the fuck out of here. You're not allowed to have a neck tattoo. Neck tattoos are reserved for bad motherfuckers. And you, sir, are managing a Wendy's. You don't fall under that category. Unless you're running some kind of operation out of the back. Then maybe we could talk. But, I mean, that's going to take a little while. And, it says, they show a picture of this dude. And it says, a burglar contracted syphilis, 2 types of herpes, after snorting more than 50 grams of dried human semen in the belief that it was illegal drugs. I mean, I've dropped a few loads in my day. And I don't really know the world of drugs that well, but I would imagine he must have thought it was cocaine. But, I mean, I don't understand. That just don't even make sense to me. Whatever. I mean, I'm sure this is not a real article, but why I laughed is somebody commented and said, if anyone did it, it was him. Like, that, as obvious as that statement is to make, that is fucking, get me every time, dude. Get me every time, dude. I love it. I love it. It's great. I mean, dude, that's one thing I enjoy about Facebook. Oh, wait, he's sick? Oh, no, he's big now. That's an old photo of him. He's not, that's somebody I know's kid. They shared a memory on their Facebook, and for a moment, I forgot that the kid is not that age anymore. He's much older now. Bro, listen. I'm sorry. I have to tell you this. I'm going to have to reach out to you personally. Don't like your own post. Don't like your own post. Don't heart it. Don't like it. Don't heart your comment. Don't do that. It's ugly and it doesn't look good on anybody. Now, having said that, I understand that you're probably like a kid in middle school, but we got to train you early so that you know better and you don't grow up to be an adult who thinks it's okay to like their own status. I mean, is that the world that we live in? Should I be liking my own YouTube videos and subscribing to my own channel and my own podcast? I mean, alright, full disclosure. I am subscribed to the podcast on Stitcher, but that's just to make sure that they upload it when they're supposed to, because the Honeydew has had problems. A couple other podcasts. Timmy's has had a few issues here and there. It happens. You can't control it. There's nothing you could do. Sometimes these companies, they're dealing with a lot of people, so if they fuck up the scheduling of a show, it is what it is. I want to make sure that it's out when it's supposed to be out. Even though I wake up a few hours after its original release time, I still do like to check and make sure that it's there. And if it's not, at least then I can put out a notice. Which, by the way, my apologies to anybody who happens to listen to the show on Castbox. Apparently, I ran out of shows 3 weeks ago on there, so I just recently had to update it. I forgot that for some reason Castbox is not manually updating the way that, well, no, automatically. It's not automatically updating. I have to manually update it for the new episode to be on there. So I forgot. I don't know how many people listen on that platform. I apologize. I didn't upload for a couple weeks. I forgot. It's easy to do, when you have everything going on and you're trying to make things and do shit. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. But I mean, there's 11 other platforms. You should have checked another platform. And for the people that are listening on Google podcasts, listen. Don't use something else. They're reworking their whole system. They're reworking their whole system now, so you're not gonna be able to. Well, this is not even going. This is going on YouTube. Anybody that listens on YouTube probably don't. I know there's probably a couple people because I'll watch the Tim Dillon podcast, but I listen to it. They put it on YouTube first. Stitcher sometimes takes a couple of days to catch up, but I mean I will watch his episode, but then I go back and listen to it because there are things that I will miss in the video sometimes because I'm watching what is happening, or I'm too busy laughing at the fact that Tim Dillon is sneaking a peek at his producer to look at him laugh so that he could build up for another joke. I miss things when I'm watching the video, so I listen back to the audio. And plus I want to give him the numbers. Sometimes I'll tell you a secret. For comedians that I don't like their comedy, but I like them as people, I will load up my YouTube page and I'll just hit the mute button and I'll play their special and just let it go so that they get the audience retention and the numbers for the viewers, but I don't have to listen to something I don't like. So it works out for both of us. You get your view and I get to support you without having to listen to your terrible jokes. So it's great. Works out for both of us. Don't be mad. I'm trying to help. I'm not going to say who it is. Don't ask me because I'm not going to tell you. I don't know who I might be friends with in the future or who I could work with in the future. So I don't want to burn any, I don't want to break any hearts. Not that anybody would give a shit, but still. Still, look, man. I've been in here for 2.5 hours. I've been recording different shit. All you need to know is that there will be stuff that is coming. If you're listening to this on YouTube right now, the podcast is not going on YouTube anymore. I'm not fighting with these people. I'm putting it on the platforms where it belongs, and that is it. I will do a live, not live, Monday through Friday, and I will upload skits and stuff whenever I come up with the ideas for them. But that's it. Outside of that, go to the podcast platform: Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, Castbox, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, all that shit. Tune in. Go into any one of those platforms. If you could leave a fucking review, if you could figure out how. God knows I can't figure it out. I did though. I went on iTunes after a while. I think it took me a month to figure out how to do it, but I left a review on Miss Pat's podcast, Ryan Sickler's podcast. I think I have to review Tim Dillon still, but I mean that's my guy. I love everything that fucking dude does, so of course I support it. Just because I don't, and I'm not mad at you if you haven't taken the time to go and rate it. I'm not mad. I understand. You're like, dude, I already listened. Why do you want me to do an extra thing? Don't worry about it. If that's how you feel, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you to do it. Just, whatever. Hit the dislike button if you want. But they don't have that on the podcast platforms, I don't think. You either listen or you don't. I mean, you could give it a 1 star. If I upset you enough, what you could do is You could give me a bad review. That would still help me. I would appreciate it, you know. But as long as you listen, that's all that matters. I don't care. I mean, really, the only reason why they tell you to rate it is so other people will find the show. But that's more for like billboards and stuff. I don't care about none of that. You know, I listened to an old episode of the podcast that we can't release, and I forgot I forgot for a moment what it is that I do this for. So I got wrapped up. I got wrapped up in real time. You saw me get obsessed with shit that doesn't matter. I forgot what the purpose of this podcast was. And that's just to go through day to day life and talk about shit, right? Somewhere along the way, I got lost in, you know, oh, guess and numbers and this and that. None of that matters, dude. None of that matters. You know, what is important is the creation part of it. I mean, of course, I want to do well. I want to do good. Who doesn't? But you can't. I got too worried about shit that don't matter. That's not why I started this. I started this to have a good time, and you know, for a while there, it got to where it wasn't fun anymore. I was just aggravated all the time. But that's also why I guess it's good that I went and I listened back to it because I was able to be reminded of what it used to be like to enjoy doing it. Like, it's not that I don't. I love doing this. This is my favorite thing to do. Seriously. Why? Because I feel emotionally better when I leave this room, even if it is only for a few seconds. But I do feel better because I got it out. I got it out. Whatever it is, the worry of the day, the anxiety of the day, the whatever. You know, you get it out and that's it. But I don't know, man. I mean, I guess look, I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy it happened because it shows you that it doesn't matter who you are or what your intentions are, that every once in a while you can get swept up in the current, dude, and you could without even like I don't give a shit if I ever get a fucking YouTube plaque. That would be cool. Like that would be awesome. I would be so proud of that thing, but I'm a nerd, dude. So, you know, little accomplishments like that mean a lot to me. So, I mean, I would appreciate it for what it is, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if I don't ever get one because I know there's more value in reaching a real audience than there is a stupid plaque that a bunch of people just, you know, subscribe to your fucking channel or watch your shit to make fun of you or, you know, whatever it is. I would much rather just I would much rather just broadcast to a couple people and have real conversations about things and instead of, you know, all the other shit. But what can you do? I mean, this is hopefully I've taught you something that you know you can get out of it. You can get out of it. But I think if you're not taking a moment to obsess with the numbers, then I don't know if you're doing shit right. Like I was talking to Doug yesterday, dude, and he was like, "Nah, man, like you it's normal for you to get wrapped up once in a while. That means that you're doing things the right way because you're worried about the right things. You want to expand, you want to get bigger, you know, you want to be you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like that's what's supposed to happen." And he's like, and then we brought up I think we've only had like three legit arguments that like the 20 years or whatever however long it's been that we've fucking known each other, like three really bad ones. I mean, of course we riff, we're buddies, that's what we do, but like three really bad ones. One of them was, you know, being like you can't say that. Like, what do you mean I can't? Why not? Why can't I? Who's gonna stop me? Like, dude, nobody's gonna stop you. And this is him arguing with me, by the way. I'm the one that's being irrational, but you can't say that. Like, why not? Because, you know, people don't know who you are. I know you, but they don't know you. So if they hear you say some shit like, you know, all pedophiles don't deserve to die, they should be getting treatment because they're human beings. People look at you like a sympathizer. Like, you understand that. And I go, okay, I see what you mean, but does it, like, why? But that's my opinion. That's how I feel. So it's still wrong, even though that's how I feel. If somebody else wants to take it a certain way, I don't co-assign abuse of children. So why is it wrong to say that? And you're like, dude, it's not wrong to say it. It's just you're opening a Pandora's box that you can't close. All right, there's nothing cool about, you know, getting a bunch of people mad at you because they think you're sympathetic to pedophiles. And it became a very loud argument where, you know, it was really bad. Like the type of arguments that like friendships get ended over, dude. Like legit, because I was mad. It's like what the fuck if I can't, and I do feel this way in my heart, like to a degree. If I can't come on here and talk about or say what I want to say, then why do it? At the same time, I understand some shit is just better off not talked about. Right, like there's a reason why I don't bring politics in here. It's not because I'm uber right or left, because I'm not. I feel that I'm kind of down the middle, right? I try to give equal time to each side, see who makes the most sense, and I take bits and pieces from each side, and I hope one day to myself that we can have a third party candidate that will actually really represent the heart of the people in this country. But the reality is that that's not what's going to happen. And even just by saying what I've said right now, I have polarized people, which is insane. But I avoid those things because I don't want to be that guy, right? I don't want to, like, when you talk about things like this, it does get very personal because there are things, my political views are tied to my personal beliefs. Just to give you an example, and I know this is a really bad one to bring up, and somewhere Doug will be ripping his fucking hair out, but I'm gonna say this, and please, if you're opposite of what I'm gonna say, just give me a moment to explain myself, and then whether you agree with me or not, we can work from there. But I believe that abortion should be the right of the person who is going to get one, and that's their decision. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes in between all of that. There's a lot of gray area, and it's not black and white, and I don't care what anyone says. I feel this way for two reasons. One is because I feel like if it wasn't so stigmatized, that maybe my mom could have got one and I wouldn't have to deal with this pain. And I'm not trying to be dramatic when I say that. I mean, legitimately, quality of life for me, it goes up and down, and there are some days where I don't have very much of it. And when this ugly movie is over, it's gonna be fucking rough, dude. And there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be hitting the crossfire because of it. That, and also the fact that I know women who, under protest, you know, they didn't want to do it. If they had their choice, it would not have been something they had to do because they got raped or whatever. And I know other people who have gotten abortions simply because they were in a relationship with somebody that was abusive and they didn't want a child to grow up in that kind of a household. Now, you can say whatever you want about, I don't want to get into the specifics of it. I'm just telling you those are some of the reasons why I feel that way. I'm also pro gun. Since we're going to talk about the biggies, let's talk. I'm pro gun too. Why? I have no need for a gun. I don't feel comfortable around them and they fucking scare me. As they should. As you should be afraid of them. Right? But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't own one if you could be responsible. People get shot every fucking day and it is sad, yes. But that does not mean, look man, every day somebody overdoses on fucking Tylenol. Are we taking Tylenol off of the shelves? No, we're not. So what the fuck are we doing? The people who can responsibly own guns should own guns. Simple as that. And again, we don't need to get into the specifics of it, but I know people personally who are responsible gun owners, and I don't think it's fair that they should have to give up their guns because somebody else did not know how to be a responsible adult. I don't think that's right. Now, I know we don't live in the kind of world where we operate on, this is right and wrong, and, people always make the right decisions because we don't live in that kind of world. But I don't bring these things up because I don't want to make you feel bad. If we don't agree, I don't want to make you feel bad, and I hope that if you don't agree with the two things that I just said, that you're still listening, because I want to live in a world where we can disagree about things and we can still have a conversation. Like, me and Doug were screaming at each other in this apartment. Loud, dude. Like, as loud as possible, is screaming at each other for what? Because we didn't agree about what we were arguing about. But you know what happened after that? We both put our egos aside, despite the fact that we both still believe that we were right and the other person is wrong, right? But we put that aside and we go, okay, this is something we're going to have to agree to disagree on, but we need to find a common ground that we can reach. So how about we do this? Like, why don't we just leave that for now, and we'll come back to it later when maybe we can dress it up to sound a little bit nicer than how you said it. Do you think that's fair? And like, alright, you know what, that's fair. I agree with that. And then as it turns out, I realized that that wasn't the hill to die on. That statement was not the hill to die for. The hill to die on for, whatever the fucking saying is. That wasn't the saying to throw everything away over. But I believe in the principle of it, that, I should be allowed to say things that upset you, that you don't agree with, and you should be allowed to do the same. However, I understand that, I have the right, and I am allowed, but by doing that, I also have to acknowledge that I am then going to short myself potential listeners because of the subject matter. And that's the decision that I have to make, is do I want to take that risk and possibly alienate people that may be listeners, or do I keep it off of the table and let whoever's going to come in? Because these things are going to be talked about sooner or later, right? That's a fact. You can try to keep as much as your personal feelings out of your opinions as possible, but it will come up eventually. Somebody's going to bring up a hot button issue, and there's absolutely nothing you're going to do about it. And if you have any balls or vagina lips or whatever, then you will not duck that when somebody brings it up to you. You will address it. And I'm not saying you have to do an entire hour-long show about something like, guns or abortion or Black Lives Matter or whatever like polarizing thing that you can think of, like Trump or, liberal and Republican, whatever, right? Like, you can address it and still make your point and then move on quickly enough to where you don't feel like you're robbing the person who asked you a question that you won't address them. You can still do that, which I did, but I went into a full-blown conversation with the people that I was in the chat with, and I like the fact that we were having a disagreement, and but everybody stayed. Everybody stayed. That makes me happy. That gives me hope that maybe one day we can live in that world. And slowly, by doing this, even if it is just for a brief moment of having an uncomfortable conversation, maybe we can inch our way into that world slowly. And it can't just be done by me and a few of you. It has to be done by people who are in real positions of power. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I am not in a position of power when I am. So don't be surprised when Doug's Me Too story comes out, because I told him that if he wanted to be on this podcast, he was going to have to blow me. And he's embarrassed by it, but, I did what I had to do. When they told me I was going to be a boss, I said, I know what Harvey would want. That's a terrible thing to say. But seriously, I mean, now I don't even remember my goddamn point. Ah, that's funny. Doug Me Too it. It's not even the action. It's what's making me laugh is the thought of him coming in here and going, all right, the real reason why I left and I didn't want to tell anybody this is because Jack Me Too'd me. It was not brave. But see, then people that have been Me Too'd are like, oh, you're making a mockery. No, I'm not. We're making a joke about something that is very serious. Oftentimes, that's how you shed light on these things, is you joke about them. Right? 9/11 was a horrible thing that happened. Some of the greatest jokes I've ever heard in my life were 9/11 jokes. Or rape jokes. Or racist jokes. Not the ones that are about race. Not the ones that have, racial slurs in them, but, when comics and shit talk about the differences in race, not in a hacky way. Hopefully you understand what the fuck I'm trying to say, dude. But, those are very good, too, because it is able, for a moment, it's able to highlight how different we all are, but in that same time, we all can recognize it and then work on that, and that is a step in the right direction of hopefully one day ending racism and exchanging it for classism. That's what we're gonna do. In the future, classism is the new racism. One day, if we're lucky, we will move in a world where there no longer are people who hate other people for the color of their skin, but rather whether or not you have money. That's a world I can at least operate in. Hate me because I'm poor is, I guess, somehow better than hating me because of my skin color. Like, both of those things are kind of out of my control, but I might have a chance to get rich, right? And then I can go back to the people who are broke, and I can pull some people up with me. I can't bring everybody, but I can bring a couple of you, and that's what it's about. But if you're racist against me and you hate me because I'm disabled or because of the color of my skin, then I don't even have a chance to ever change that, right? So hopefully we will live in a world where you can hate me because I'm poor and not because of the color of my skin or my disability or whatever. So yeah, there you go. 34 minutes. I think that's enough. It's 11 a.m. I've done 2 podcasts, four different versions of this. Live, not live. I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening in my throat right now, but whatever it is making it very difficult for me to swallow phrasing. But that's probably the CP though. I do that. I have a problem swallowing food. You know, just somebody's gonna cut that out. Whatever. I deserve it. If I'm sure somebody could probably make an hour-long podcast. You can make a podcast episode of just taking things that I've said completely out of context, and because of the way that I talk, my pattern, it would probably sound as if it was a regular fucking episode. You probably could do that. Legitimate. But anyway, this has been... What episode are we on? Let me take a look, see. By the way, Jessamy Peluso, I think, seems to be an attractive woman. Good for her. I just seen her thumbnail on Joey's podcast. Okay, the last episode was apparently I skipped 24 and went right to 25, 22, 23, 24. I'll make this 24 since 25 is already out. We'll go backwards. I have episode 23 on YouTube. I just haven't released it because we'll talk about that later. In the meantime, there are literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 windows of Audacity open. Every one of them have an hour material in them outside of what I'm recording right this second. So I've done enough. The editing is going to be terrible, but look, things are being planned, and all I can say to you is you're not going to want to miss what's going to be coming. Trust me when I tell you. I'm not gonna ruin it for any of you. Not gonna ruin it for any of you, but you're gonna want to be around for this, dude. Or maybe you won't. Right? I don't know. I think you do. I think you do. I think you would. I think you would stick around. I don't know. Over the next month or so, things are gonna be a little bit different around here. That's all you need to know. So circle your calendars, bitch, because it's going down. November. If you live in New Jersey, please, for the love of God, vote. Please, for the love of God, vote. I know it's a terrible deal. I talked about this already on something else I'll release eventually. But I need to do it. It needs to be legalized so that I can move on with my fucking life. And not get stabbed to death eventually. You know. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Seriously, though. Vote, please. Even if you're opposed to it. Vote. It's important that these people understand that we pay attention to what goes on. And I don't want the votes to come in and they'd be like, oh, not enough people voted, so we're gonna pretend like it never happened, and all of this talk and hype over all this time is been for nothing. Don't allow that. Please vote. Even if you're opposed to it, make sure that your voice is heard. Is important. I don't care about who you vote for president. That's not important to me. I don't give a shit about that. I care about, changing this place that we live for the better. Letting people out of jail that have non-violent drug offenses for marijuana. Let them people out. There's pedophiles walking around that should be fucking put in prison. Stop it. Let them people out. You know what I mean? Like, enough of this already. Cops have better things to do than chase people down for a couple fucking joints. And some of them still enjoy doing that. But we don't. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Please vote. I'm asking you to. Corona or no, I am going to go to my polling place with a fucking mask on and gloves, and there's nobody outside of a police officer who is going to stop me from going into that fucking building and voting when the time comes. Nobody. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if we're in the middle of a fucking hurricane and it's raining goddamn literal cats and dogs. I don't give a shit. I'm going. It's gonna happen. I waited my whole life for this moment, apparently. And now here it is. So please do yourself a favor and your fellow statesmen and women and get your ass to the poll and vote. Whoever you support, it doesn't matter. I'm Jack of One Trade, and I approve this message.